Okay there, coaches, hi. Alright, so this is week 1, chapter 1. Sorry, week 2, chapter 2, chapter 1. I'll get it right in a minute. Oh man. Sorry. Okay, so week 2, chapter 1, building trust and relationships. Okay, so as I've already alluded to in the introduction, this is a subject that I massively undervalued for like 9 years of my coaching career. I was so arrogant until about 12 months ago that I thought, you know, I'm a really good coach, I know my staff, I get on well with my players, I don't need relationships with other people, I don't need to have other people like me, I don't have to have great relationships with the people at the club, other coaches, parents, because they'll all want me to coach their kids because I'm fabulous. If you think like that, if you think even a little bit like that, please stop right now. Stop thinking like that, okay? Ultimately, what do the parents want? Well, they want to know that when they leave their child with you, that their child is first of all safe. That's a given. Second of all, that their child is going to have a great experience, have fun, learn. That they're going to be challenged, that they're going to be given problems to solve, that they're going to be treated well, looked after, and have a all-round great experience. And for the most part, I took care of all of that. But there's more to it than that. You know, the parents, especially with the younger age kids, the parents are massively involved. They're massively involved in everything that their kids are doing. So if you're going to ignore the parents and you're going to marginalize them, what you're actually doing is you are making your job twice as difficult, because the parents are integral, in especially the younger age groups, in making sure that they're involved in the process, they're aware of what's happening, they are instrumental in the communication with their child, so that they are a massive cog in the whole machine. And if you take that cog out, the whole thing stops working. Eventually, it will stop working. So, you know, it took me 9 years to figure that out. Man, I'm stupid. And I don't want you to make the same mistake. I don't want you to make the same mistake. You know, you may be brand new at coaching, you may be been doing this 3 or 4 years, and you're feeling the way I did, or you're doing some of the things that I was doing. You know, you don't want to deal with the parents, you don't want to talk to the parents, you don't want to involve the parents. You know, but you know what you've got to realise is that once you involve them, once you get them on side, once they are become part of the process, they become part of the solution, they are then on your side, they're then your friend, they then help and collaborate with you to get the best outcome, instead of this clash all the time between you and the parents. Again, a year ago I realised this. I realised that, you know, that has to change. The relationship with the parents has to change. And I've been working really hard on that for the last 12 months, so that I have better relationships with parents, and I include them more, and I share with them more my philosophy, I share with them more my planning and why I'm making decisions and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But, you know, what we should probably discuss before all of that is, why on earth is this so important? Why on earth does it matter if you build trust and if you get great relationships? Okay, so the whole process of this course is to make you more successful. I'm going to tell you now, and you can go and do the research if you like, there isn't a single person alive or dead that managed to achieve success without the help of other people. If you think about anyone that you know is successful, you can know them personally. Maybe it's a great business leader in your community. Maybe it's a politician that you're aware of in your community. Maybe it's just the guy that runs the local shop in your community. Perhaps you aspire to be like someone like, I don't know, let's think, maybe Richard Branson, or maybe Donald Trump even. You know, maybe you have aspirations of going as far as he has. Every single one of these people have had help from somebody else throughout their entire career. So if you accept that to be successful you have to have help from other people and you have to have help throughout the whole process, then probably the quickest way to get that help is to build relationships with these people and to get them to trust you. So, you know, if you're going to do those two things, you're going to get help and support and guidance and mentorship and people wanting to learn from you much quicker than you are if you don't. You know, it's taken me, as I say, 10 years to get to this point, but probably it's taken me 12 months to realise that I can't do this by myself. I need help from a lot of other people, and now you're part of that process. You know, I'm now helping you to realise some of the things that I did wrong and that you shouldn't do. Okay, so how do we get it? How do you get trust? How do you build trust? How do you establish trust? And you know, there's people that are experts in this field that have provided video content that you're going to watch through this week, and they're people that have studied this subject far more than I have. You know, I'm going to give you the benefit of my experience and the reasons why I think it's important, but they'll be able to shed a whole different light on it for you. So why is it important for a soccer coach to get trust? Ultimately, especially if you're working in the youth game, you are dealing with people's most prized possession, their kids. Yeah, I have 5 kids, and I would want to trust the person that is coaching my 5-year-old soccer. She's a lovely lady, met her a few times, but I trust that she's going to keep him safe. I don't necessarily need to know that she's got massive amounts of soccer skills or coaching skills, because at 5 years old I just want him to have fun and be safe, and I believe that his coach Laura can achieve that for him. So you as the soccer coach, you're dealing with these people's most important possession, their kids. So put yourself in their shoes for a minute. You are bringing Johnny to his practice session with this brand new coach, and you don't know anything about this new coach. You may have heard some things through the club, through other people that have worked with him, but you don't know anything about him. You're meeting him for the first time. What are some of the things that you're going to want to see from this coach? Are you going to want to see someone that's grumpy, that shouts a lot, that is negative? You're going to want to see someone that doesn't do anything, isn't interactive? Or are you going to want to see someone that as soon as you turn up and they see you, they make eye contact with you, they're smiling, they make a movement towards you, they come to you, they extend their hand and say, "Hi, my name's Coach Mark. I'm delighted to have your son here working with us. What's your name?" And then you get the parent's name. Now you have established some rapport, because you know they might be nervous coming over to talk to you, and they may not have necessarily known who you are. So the fact that you've gone to them shows that you're interested, that you want to be engaging. You know, you introduce yourself to the player. Even if you've met the player before, you shake the player by the hand and say, "Hi, I'm Coach Mark, what's your name?" Again, you're building a relationship, you're building rapport. And rapport is vital in building the trust, because you now have an opportunity to be able to have an exchange of ideas. You have an opportunity to be able to get a perspective from where the parent is coming from and where you're coming from. And later on in this training, you'll see some of the tools that I've created that will help you to be able to get everybody on the same page, so that you can have a successful program, and you can pre-plan success for some of the things you're going to do. For instance, when you go into your parent meeting, you can already have everything set up to make you successful before you even get there, and you'll learn about that later. So why is trust important? Trust is important because you're dealing with these people's most important prize, their most important asset, their most important possession. They have to trust you to keep those kids safe, to be able to look after those kids, to be able to educate and grow and develop those kids. And if they don't, one of two things will happen. Either you'll get replaced as the coach, or they'll move their kid to a different program. Neither of those things you want to happen. So you have to be able to create an environment where they trust you and you can build relationships. So for me, it all starts with that initial meeting. You want to meet with the parent, you want to understand who the parent is, find out something about them. You know, what do they do for a living? How have they played soccer before? Do they know what the program is, what the process is, what you're going to do? How much of it do they want to be involved in? And then you can start building this mental picture of who you're dealing with. You know, are they someone that's going to be quite warm and friendly to you, or do you need to get them to come round to your way of thinking? How much work are you going to have to do to be able to convince them that you're a great guy or girl and that you are the best person to coach their kid? Building relationships goes along the same lines as that, but this is, you're now getting to know the person. You're now getting to know who they are and what makes them tick. What's important to them? You know, why are they here? What is it that they want for their child? Why did they bring them into the program? What values do they have? What is important to them? Do they, you know, one of the things I'm really big on is self-discipline. I expect my players to be at practice on time. I expect them to leave after we finish, not before. I expect them to be dressed in the appropriate uniform. I expect them to arrive at games 45 minutes before the game. These are all expectations that I have. However, if you're dealing with a child that can't drive themselves to a game or practice, who do you have to instill those qualities to? And it took me 9 years to figure that out. You know, it's no good me having a go at the kid because they aren't at practice on time. I've got to address that with the parent. And the only way I can do that successfully is if I've built a relationship. You know, I can go over and say, hey Dan, you know, I really appreciate the fact that you don't finish work until 5 o'clock and practice starts at 5:30, but I really need to figure out how we can get Johnny here at 5:30 so that we can start practice all at the same time. Can we sit down and come up with some solutions to see if we can carpool, if we can get somebody to bring him so that he is here on time? If you've established a rapport, if you've established a relationship, you can have that conversation and it doesn't become an argument. It becomes a collaboration, it becomes a sharing of minds, an understanding of we're trying to get the same thing, how do we do it? And for me, this is the biggest learning I've taken out of the last 12 months, is that I need to work on this and work on this and work on this. And I need to hammer myself to the point where I'm over-delivering on the relationship side. I'm over-making myself available. You know, I will take calls, no matter who is from, whatever time, just because I want to build that relationship. I want to make sure these parents know that I love them, I want to support them, and I want them to feel like they're part of the process. And as I say, for 9 years, you couldn't have got me to do that. But now I realise just how important it is. So I want to make sure you realise how important it is. So enjoy chapter 1. It's a really brilliant chapter. There's lots of great information in here, and it's going to change the way you view your parent group, your players, the officials at your club, the officials at games, and maybe it'll change how you develop and build your relationships in your external life. I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again later. Bye bye.